What if everything you were taught about money was wrong? Your parents told you, go to school, get good grades, find a safe job. Your teachers told you, work hard and you'll be successful. Society told you, save your money, don't take risks. And yet, the richest people in the world did the opposite of all of that. They didn't rely on a paycheck. They didn't save money, they invested it. They didn't work for money, they made money work for them. This is the story of Robert Kiyosaki, a man who had two fathers. One was highly educated, had a PhD, worked his whole life, and died broke. The other never finished 8th grade and died one of the wealthiest men in Hawaii. Same country, same economy, completely different outcomes. The difference wasn't luck. The difference wasn't talent. The difference was mindset. This is Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and by the end of this video, you will never look at money the same way again. Chapter 1. Rich Dad, Poor Dad. The Two Fathers. Robert Kiyosaki grew up in Hawaii with a father he loved deeply. A man who worked hard, climbed the ladder, earned degrees, and believed in the system. That was his poor dad. Not poor because he was lazy, poor because of how he thought about money. His poor dad used to say things like, I can't afford it. Money is the root of all evil. Study hard so you can get a good job. Now, his best friend Mike had a father who was completely different. No fancy degree, a rough start in life. But this man owned businesses, real estate, and built an empire from scratch. That was his rich dad. And Rich Dad said things like, how can I afford it? Money is a tool. Learn to use it. Don't work for money. Make money work for you. Notice the difference? Poor Dad shut down the conversation about money. Rich Dad opened his mind to possibilities. Here's a real-life example to make this crystal clear. Imagine two friends, Sarah and Jake. Both earn $50,000 a year. Sarah thinks, I don't make enough to invest. She spends everything, saves a little, and waits for a raise. Jake thinks, how do I make this $50,000 grow? He cuts one subscription, puts $200 a month into an index fund, and spends his weekends learning about money. 10 years later, Sarah is still waiting for the next raise. Jake has a portfolio worth $40,000 and growing on autopilot. Same salary, different mindset, completely different life. That's the core lesson of this entire book, and we're just getting started. Chapter 2. The rich don't work for money. Here's something most people get completely backwards. They think, if I work more, I'll earn more. If I earn more, I'll be rich. That's the rat race, and it's a trap. When Robert was 9 years old, Rich Dad taught him this lesson the hard way. He made Robert and Mike work in his convenience store for almost nothing. 10 cents an hour, then 5 cents, then nothing at all. Robert was furious. He felt used. He went to Rich Dad and said, "You're not paying me enough." And Rich Dad smiled and said, "Good. Now you're starting to think like a rich person." His point? Emotions control poor people's financial decisions. When you're desperate for a paycheck, you make bad choices. You stay in jobs you hate. You never ask questions. You never take risks. Rich people learn to control their emotions and think clearly about money. Let's break this down with a modern example. Marcus works 60 hours a week at a corporate job. He gets a raise every 2 years. But every time he earns more, he spends more. New car, bigger apartment, latest iPhone. His expenses always rise to match his income. This is what Rich Dad calls lifestyle inflation. Your salary goes up, your spending goes up, and you end up in the exact same spot, broke at the end of the month, just with nicer stuff. The escape? Stop trading time for money. Rich people build systems. They buy assets. They create income streams that work even while they're sleeping. Imagine owning a small rental property that earns you $1,200 a month in rent. You wake up. The money's already there. You didn't lift a finger for it today. That's your money working for you. The goal isn't a bigger paycheck. The goal is a bigger system. Chapter 3. Why teach financial literacy? Okay, this is where things get really practical. Robert lays out one of the most important concepts in the entire book. And once you get it, you'll see the world of money in a totally different way. It's 2 words: assets and liabilities. Rich Dad's definition is brilliantly simple. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of your pocket. That's it. That's the whole game. The rich buy assets, the poor and middle class buy liabilities, and think they're assets. Here's the example that blows people's minds. Your house is not an asset. Wait, what? Think about it. Every month, your house takes money out of your pocket. Mortgage payments, property taxes, maintenance, repairs, homeowner's insurance. Does your house put money in your pocket? Only if you rent it out. If you live in it and pay for it every month, it's a liability. Now compare that to a rental property. Every month, your tenant's rent flows into your pocket. That's an asset. More real-life examples. Assets, liabilities. Rental property. The home you live in with a mortgage, stocks and index funds. A new car depreciates the second you drive off the lot. A blog that earns ad revenue. The latest iPhone on a payment plan. A business you own. Designer clothes and gadgets. Royalties from a book or course. Credit card debt. Most middle-class Americans spend their whole lives buying liabilities and calling them success. A new SUV, a bigger house, the best TV, monthly payments on everything. They look wealthy, but their bank account is bleeding. The rich? They quietly buy assets that generate cash flow. Then they use that income to buy more assets. This cycle, buying assets that generate cash, is literally how wealth is built. And nobody teaches this in school. Chapter 4. Mind your own business. Here's one of the most misunderstood chapters in the book. Mind your own business doesn't mean be secretive or selfish. It means your job is not your business. Your job is your employer's business. You go to work. You make your boss richer. You help their dream grow. Meanwhile, what are you building for yourself? Rich Dad says keep your day job if you need the income, but use that income to build your business on the side. Your business is your asset column. It's what you're building toward financial freedom. What does your business look like? It could be stocks and index funds you own, real estate you rent out, a side hustle or freelance service, a YouTube channel that earns ad money, an online course about something you already know. You don't have to quit your job tomorrow, but you need to start building your column right now. Real life example. Ashley is a marketing manager earning $75,000 a year. She also spends about 5 hours a week running a personal finance blog. After 2 years, that blog earns her $1,500 a month in affiliate income. She didn't quit her job. She built a second income stream, her own little business, in her spare time. That's minding your own business. Most people never do this. They go to work, come home, scroll through their phone, go to sleep, repeat for 40 years. And then they retire with just barely enough to survive. Don't spend your whole life building someone else's empire. Build yours. Chapter 5. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. Here's something the wealthy know that most people don't. The tax system was not designed to be fair. In America, the harder you work as an employee, the more tax you pay. You earn more, the government takes a bigger slice before you even see it. Income tax, Social Security, Medicare, it all comes out before your check hits your account. But corporations? They work differently. A corporation earns money, then pays its expenses, then gets taxed on what's left. An employee earns money, then gets taxed first, then pays expenses with whatever remains. Do you see the difference? Wealthy people use legal structures, LLCs, S-corps, C-corps, to pay expenses before taxes, reducing how much they owe. They write off business meals, travel, home offices, and more. A regular employee? None of that. Now, this is not about cheating the system. This is about understanding the rules, because the rules were written by and for the wealthy. Robert's key point? Financial education gives you access to the same advantages the rich use every single day. The wealthy have CPAs, tax attorneys, and financial advisors working for them. Most Americans have TurboTax. The lesson? Learn the rules of money, because ignorance is expensive, and the IRS doesn't give refunds for not knowing. Chapter 6. The Rich Invent Money. This chapter is about confidence, creativity, and seizing opportunities that others overlook. Most people wait. They wait for the perfect time, the perfect conditions, the perfect amount in savings. The rich? They create opportunities. Robert talks about how financial intelligence, knowing how money works, lets you see deals that everyone else walks right past. A powerful example: the 2008 financial crisis. Stock markets crashed. Real estate prices dropped 40 to 50% in many markets. Most people panicked and sold everything at a loss. Warren Buffett? He bought. Because he understood. The market was on sale. He famously wrote in a New York Times op-ed, "Be greedy when others are fearful." Opportunity was everywhere, but only those with the financial knowledge and the courage to act walked away wealthy. Another example closer to everyday life. During COVID, when restaurants shut down, a young entrepreneur in Austin, Texas, started a ghost kitchen. He rented commercial kitchen space for almost nothing because landlords were desperate. He partnered with DoorDash and Uber Eats. Within 6 months, he had a profitable food delivery business running out of a kitchen he barely paid for. He didn't wait for things to normalize. He invented an opportunity inside a crisis. The key mindset shift. I don't have enough money to start. How can I use what I have creatively? The timing isn't right. What opportunity is hiding in this mess? Rich people don't stumble onto opportunities. They create them. Chapter 7. Work to learn. Don't work for money. Here's advice that sounds counterintuitive, but it's absolute gold. Don't just chase the highest paying job. Chase the job that teaches you the most. Robert talks about a young journalist who interviewed him and mentioned she wanted to become a best-selling author. He suggested she learn sales and marketing. She was offended. She was a writer, not a salesperson. He said, "You write beautifully, but if you can't sell your writing, you'll be a broke writer." Ouch. But true. The wealthy are constantly stacking skills. They don't just go deep in one area. They combine skills in ways that make them uniquely valuable. Think about it. A doctor who understands business leads to builds a healthcare company. A programmer who understands marketing leads to builds a successful app. A teacher who understands personal branding leads to builds a $1 million online course. The more you combine skills, the more rare and valuable you become. The most important skills Rich Dad recommends: sales, the ability to communicate value to other people; marketing, reaching people and persuading them; accounting, understanding money and numbers; investing, making your money grow over time; leadership, managing people and inspiring action. You don't need to be an expert in all 5, but knowing the basics of each, that's a serious competitive advantage. Real-world example. Tyler was an average web developer. He spent 1 year learning copywriting and digital marketing in his spare time. He combined coding plus marketing and started consulting for SaaS startups. His income more than doubled in 18 months. Not because he became a better coder, but because he became more useful to more people. Don't just be great at your job. Be a complete, multi-skilled person with multiple weapons in your arsenal. Chapter 8. Overcoming Obstacles. The 5 Mental Blocks. All right, now you know the theory. You know what to do. So why don't most people actually do it? Robert identifies 5 mental roadblocks that stop people from building wealth, even when they know better. 1. Fear. Everyone is scared of losing money. It's wired into us. But here's the hard truth. Every successful investor has lost money. The difference is they didn't let fear paralyze them. Rich Dad says, "It's not the smart people who get ahead in life. It's the bold ones." You will make mistakes. You will lose some money along the way. That is the tuition fee for financial education. Pay it. Learn from it. Keep going. 2. Cynicism. The market's rigged. The economy is about to crash. Real estate is way too expensive now. Cynics always have 10 reasons why something won't work. They are world-class experts at spotting problems and terrible at finding solutions. While cynics sit on the sidelines and criticize, winners analyze and act. 3. Laziness. This one is sneaky, because most lazy people are actually very busy. They're busy at work, busy with family, busy on social media, busy watching Netflix, and they use busyness as a reason to avoid ever thinking seriously about their money. Rich Dad's cure? A little bit of desire. Ask yourself, what would my life look like if money was never a worry again? Let that vision pull you forward. 4. Bad habits. Most people pay everyone else first. Rent, bills, car payments, subscriptions, and save whatever's left over. Rich people pay themselves first. They invest a set amount before paying bills. This creates healthy pressure to figure out how to cover expenses, and it builds the asset column automatically. Try it. Next month, move 10% of your income into investments on payday. Watch how quickly your mind gets creative about covering the rest. 5. Arrogance. I already know enough about money. This is the most dangerous one of all, because what we don't know is exactly what costs us the most. The wealthy are always learning, always curious, always asking questions. If you don't understand something, tax strategy, real estate, stocks, don't fake it. Find an expert. Take a course. Read a book. Financial ignorance isn't a personality quirk. It's expensive. Chapter 9. Getting started. 10 steps to awaken your financial genius. All right, now it's time to move from theory to action. Robert gives us a clear roadmap. Here are the 10 steps, simplified for real life. Step 1. Find a reason greater than reality. Why do you want financial freedom? Write it down. Be specific. Not, I want to be rich, but I want to retire my parents at 65. Or, I want to work because I want to, not because I have to. Your why is your fuel. Step 2. Make daily choices. Every day, you choose between spending and investing. Every $20 spent on something you don't need is a missed investment. You don't have to be perfect, just more intentional. Step 3. Choose your friends carefully. Surround yourself with people who talk about ideas, opportunities, and growth, not just complaints and drama. You become the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Step 4. Master one formula, then learn a new one. Start simple. Learn how index fund investing works. Once you get it, learn about real estate, then individual stocks. Layer your knowledge over time. Step 5. Pay yourself first. Automate your investments. Make it non-negotiable. Treat your investment contribution like your rent or mortgage. It gets paid no matter what. Step 6. Pay your advisors well. Find a great CPA. Find a great financial advisor. Don't go for the cheapest option. Hire the most knowledgeable you can afford. Good advice pays for itself many times over. Step 7. Get your investment back quickly. When you invest, always ask, How do I recover my initial capital while keeping the asset? For example, buy a rental property, collect rent, use that rent to eventually recover your down payment, and still own the property. Your money comes back to you while the asset stays in your name. Step 8. Use assets to buy luxuries. Want a luxury car? Don't buy it with your paycheck. Build an asset first. Use the income from that asset to buy the car. Now your asset paid for your lifestyle. That's how the wealthy actually live. Step 9. Find heroes and study them. Who do you admire financially? Warren Buffett? Charlie Munger? Barbara Corcoran? Study them obsessively. Read their books, watch their interviews, model their habits. Step 10. Teach and you will receive. The fastest way to deeply learn something is to teach it. Share what you know with friends, family, your social media followers, or anyone who will listen. As you teach, you sharpen your own understanding. And generosity has a way of coming back multiplied. Let's bring it all home. The world is full of hardworking people. People who follow every rule, show up every day, give everything they have, and still struggle financially. Not because they're not smart enough, not because they're not working hard enough, but because nobody ever taught them this. The gap between the rich and everyone else isn't income, it's education. Not school education, financial education. It's knowing that assets make you rich and liabilities quietly drain you. It's knowing that your job is not your business. It's knowing that fear and cynicism are the biggest thieves of your future. It's knowing that every dollar is a seed, and where you plant it determines your harvest. Robert Kiyosaki's two fathers both worked hard. Both loved their son. Both wanted the best for him. But only one taught him how money really works. Today, you've been given that same education. The question is, what will you do with it? Don't just watch this video, feel inspired for an hour, and move on. Take one action today. Open a brokerage account. Read one book on investing. Start tracking your expenses this week. Talk to a financial advisor. One step. Today. That's all it takes to begin. Because the best time to start building wealth was 10 years ago. The second best time? Right now. If this video helped you, share it with one person who needs to hear this. Like, subscribe, and drop a comment below. What's your single biggest takeaway from Rich Dad, Poor Dad?